diet and exercise traps are such a poisonous, insidious part of our fitness culture. So today I'm going to be covering 4 of the most common, most difficult, and most poisonous fitness traps in our fitness culture, and more importantly, how you can escape them later on. So trap number 1, the cardio trap. This is one I've got a lot of experience with because I got stuck into it for most of my college career when I was a bike racer. And it works like this, is you start doing a little bit of activity and you're taking up maybe running a mile a couple times a week and you start getting some benefit from it. And you think, okay, I'm gonna run 2 miles a couple times a week, and then 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, and then you gotta do it every single day. And while getting in more exercise, and oftentimes in this case cardio, can be more beneficial, every ounce that you're adding takes more time and more energy, and you are burning more fat and calories. But of course, the body always will self-regulate to return to homeostasis, as it always does. So eventually, the appetite starts to increase, your cravings for more calorie-dense food, oftentimes very carbohydrate and sugary type foods in order to fuel the muscle glycogen that you're burning at an increased rate increases as well. So you get stuck into this trap of, I've got to exercise a lot because I eat a whole lot. And I'm eating a whole lot because I'm exercising a lot. And every side of that cycle takes more time, more energy, and more work. The second trap is the restrictive diet trap. And this is largely because a lot of the dietary advice in our fitness culture has nothing to do with health and well-being. It's all about just trying to help us look good naked. And the best way we can often do that is just having restriction in our diet. Less calories, less carbs, less sugar, less fat, less processed foods, less whatever things the demon of the month is. And this is, again, starting off with a very innocent start with like, well, I'm going to cut back on junk food. I'm going to drink a little less alcohol, maybe cut back on the sodas or eliminate those entirely and stuff. And you start to see improvements. You feel better. You look better. And you think, okay, so I got that much from cutting back here. What else can I cut back? And eventually it gets to the point where that restriction of all these different restrictions just keeps getting closer and closer and closer. And before you know it, you have such a limited diet that you can handle that now you're in this little cell and you can barely eat anything in order to, quote, eat healthy. The third trap that I myself have gotten into many times, and other people, is what I call the hustle trap. And this starts off where you're doing some exercise, typically in the gym. A lot of times this comes with strength training. And you think, okay, this is really good. I'm really enjoying this, getting benefit from it. So you add to it, and it's more sets, more reps, more exercises, more training disciplines. Like, well, I was doing strength training, now I got kettlebells, then I've got HIIT, and then I've got yoga, then I got Pilates, then I've got my hill sprints, and you just keep adding and adding and adding, and before you know it, your whole life is spent in the gym working your tail off. And then finally, the fourth trap is that of kind of a information consuming. It's the FOMO that often happens with, I just need to learn more information. Of course, the internet is fueled with this sort of thing where it's like, okay, I learned a little bit on how to do a better push-up and a little bit of basic stuff on nutrition. And so now I fall down various rabbit holes and I need to learn more and more and more and more. And you're buying books and you're attending seminars. In some cases, it can get so pervasive that you're actually spending more time learning about diet and exercise than actually practicing it. And then you get into a lot of the debate back and forth of learning this approach that says to do X and this approach that says to do Y, and they conflict. And now you're trying to find out more information to know which one is correct and which one should I do. And you get caught in this vicious trap of, I'm going to know what to do for sure. I just need to read one more book or watch one more YouTube video. The information I need is always out there, so I just need to keep learning until, I don't know, something magic happens. Now, all 4 of these traps are very common because they lure you with the promise that you're always just a little bit further away from the goals you want. You just need a little more restriction in the diet, a little more information. You just need to work a little harder, or you just need to do a little bit more cardio, and that's going to fuel you. But of course, you can't scale hard work. We have limited energy and time and attention we can put towards our things. So as a result, you're just basically running a fitness rat race. And while you can't feel like you can get ahead, you're also afraid of falling back, and that's where the trap comes in. So how do you get out of these traps? Well, it all starts off with, again, understanding the fundamental approach to fitness, of recognizing that your results don't depend on what kind of diet you're following or what foods you don't eat or how much cardio you do, but rather the fundamental processes of mother and human nature. That's what's more in charge, and our habits are merely influencing that process. Furthermore, understanding that that process, as it relates to our goals, is the thing that is responsible for it, so we can auto-regulate our habits accordingly. For example, with the cardio trap, like, yes, for weight management, you have caloric intake and caloric expenditure. Doing more exercise will increase your caloric expenditure to influence that process. But eating more also influences it the other way, so you're just kind of stuck in a cycle. And understanding that can give you that emotional pressure valve that says, okay, I don't need to work myself to death with tons of cardio as long as I can keep my diet in check and not overeat, which is a lot easier when you're not doing a whole lot of cardio. And as a result, your caloric balance maintains, but it all comes back down and you have a lot less time and a lot less wasted energy. It's also easier on the grocery bills, and you still maintain that perfect balance. So when it comes to diet, we have the fundamental process of consumption and expenditure of all things nutrients. And furthermore, a healthy diet is much more than just nutrition and calories of fueling the body. It's also about emotional needs taken care of with food, the social reasons why we eat, and all these other subjective, softer reasons why food plays an important role in our life. Yes, of course, eating less junk food and not drinking too much and stuff can be a very good thing, and cutting back can be beneficial. However, cutting back on various foods is only beneficial if you're consuming them to excess to begin with. So if you're eating too much candy, for example, cutting back on the intake will help to balance out the expenditure you have, so you're much more in a homeostatic, healthy balance. But that only helps to the degree that you regain that balance. Once you're no longer eating too much that your body can handle, more restriction isn't at all helpful. And in fact, you're now going backwards because your intake is so much less than your requirements. So whereas before you were over-consuming, then you're under-consuming, which brings about a whole host of other problems. And when it comes to training, understanding that the fundamental process of that is all about creating a stimulus and then having adaptation, usually as we recover. And this is where clear objective-based approaches to training come about, like with my Grand Style Calisthenics program. Because if we go into a workout without a clear understanding of what your objective is from that workout, what kind of stimulus you're trying to create, then you're just basically working yourself to death and hoping for the best and trying to get results through blind luck. But when you go into your workout saying, okay, the stimulus I'm trying to create is creating more strength in the muscle, more tension, or I'm trying to improve my performance by using my glutes more with kettlebell swings or packing my shoulders during pull-ups, whatever that objective is, understanding the stimulus you're trying to create gives you clear directions on this is what I'm here for, and once I accomplish that stimulus, I know I'm done, and I don't need to just endlessly work myself into the ground. And that clarity also happens when it comes to just chronic information consumption, because when we're trying to learn, we want to know what specific information we need. Don't just consume ad nauseum like, oh, I'll just fill my head with a lot of information, because you never know when you're going to need it. The best type of learning is the learning that has purpose and clarity to it. Like, I need to know, how do I get stronger at push-ups? How do I improve my ability to work out stronger with my legs? Or how do I improve the stability of my squats? Whatever that is. When you go looking for information, knowing exactly what type of information you're looking for, that says, this is what I need to learn, and once I've learned it, I don't need to learn a whole lot more, and I can apply it and take action with it. And usually through the experience of taking that action, you're going to get the real information you need from having the application of the information you learned with clarity and purpose. So check out this video here for more information on the fundamental processes of mother and human nature, and this one here on my playlist of micro workouts to give you more clarity and focused approach to your workouts. Like, share, subscribe, all that great stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Be fit and live free.